Hello everyone, and welcome to these videos on starting with Nuke Studio. On this first video, we'll have a look at Nuke Studio's interface. So when you start Nuke Studio, this is what you get presented with. And the first bit is your project tab, which allows you to pick either to start any project or open any project that you have started already or any projects that you have recently worked on. In this case, I'm just going to start a new project. Now, I want to show you that Nuke's interface is completely customizable and is to make your life easy depending on the job that you're doing. So it is consistent of panels where we can put tabs. In this case, we're on the finishing workspace. I can go into other workspaces by going into my top menu, going workspace, and you have 4 different tasks. For example, conforming, or we can go into editing, where I'll have a source and record viewer. Or I can go into compositing, for example, where you'll feel like the normal Nuke. Now I'm going to go back to finishing, and remember, any of these workspaces are completely customizable. You can move any panels to whatever you want. So let's start looking at the different panels now. So the first tab I want to show you is the project tab. In this tab, we'll be able to contain firstly our projects, and inside each project we'll have the ability to put our sequences and media, being either footage or audio or Nuke scripts, and host them inside folders. And I'll be able to create this either by hand, or I can add them automatically when I do imports. We'll cover this more in depth in the next video. So at the bottom, we have our sequence tab, where we host all our timeline with all our multi-track editorial, where we have added soft effects into the different clips. And on the left-hand side, we have editorial toolsets, so we can use them to cut, sleep, slide the clips, and get all our edit finished. Also here, we can find our node graph. Node graph is where we're going to build all our composites using the full power of NUKE's node-based compositing. Now I can also find our curve editor, which allows to see any keyframe interpolations and tweak them or treat anything. So for example, here I have a transform that I can be changing its interpolation between the 2 keyframes. While the dot sheet as well hosts the animation keys, it is about timing them. So here I have my 2 keys, but now I can actually stretch them together or move them based on that relationship, while my curve editor stays with the curves for it. On the right hand side, you find your properties tab. These will host the properties either for your soft effects from the timeline or your nodes from your node graph. In this case, I have loaded the properties for the grade from here, from this soft effect, and I can start grading and decide my color in real time. One of the nice things about the properties is you have things like undo and redo per node or soft effect, so I can undo or redo any of my changes on that node. And I also have my presets, so I can load different presets onto my grades. We'll have a look at that later. Now on the center I find my viewer, where I have my playback controls at the bottom, and I can press play, stop or play backwards, move between shots, and I can also compare between tracks. To compare, I have my A and B buffer, so if I select a track that I want to see and select, so if I press 2, you can see how now I have a wipe and I can compare between my original shot and my final shot. I can also have this set up either stack or horizontal or vertical, where I can see the 2 images beside each other. Last but not least is how to move and zoom in into our different panels. We can use Alt and middle click to zoom, and middle click to pan around. The same in the timeline, so we can Alt and middle click to zoom in and out, and middle click to pan around. And you can do the same on the node graph curve editor and the dot sheet. So that is a brief introduction to the NUKE interface. We'll look more in depth into different panels as we go through the next few videos. On the next video, we'll be looking at importing our footage and creating our bins on our project tab. So I'll see you there.